We have all been there. You're at a party, a networking event, or maybe just standing in line for coffee and you see someone you want to talk to. Maybe it's a potential mentor, a crush, or just someone who looks like they have a great story. You have the perfect opening line. You take a breath. And then the freeze happens. Within seconds, your brain begins to manufacture a list of every possible way this could go wrong. What if they think I'm weird? What if I have something in my teeth? They look busy. I shouldn't bother them. Suddenly, the simple act of saying hello feels like jumping into a pit of vipers. The longer you wait, the heavier your feet feel, until the moment passes, the person walks away, and you're left with that familiar, hollow ache of a missed opportunity. I'm Willow, and today on the Clever Clover, we are going to fix this. I'm going to teach you the 3-second rule, a simple biological hack that tricks your brain into being brave before it even has the chance to realize it's afraid. We're going to learn how to move faster than your fear. Before we count down the steps to mastering this, we need to understand the anxiety window. Your brain is designed to protect you, but it's also a massive procrastinator. Between the moment you have an impulse to act and the moment your brain starts generating self-doubt software, there is a tiny golden gap of about 3 to 5 seconds. In this gap, you are pure action. Your prefrontal cortex, the logical captain, has the wheel. But once those 5 seconds pass, your amygdala, the panicked lizard, wakes up and starts screaming, danger and rejection. Once the lizard is awake, it is incredibly hard to push through. The 3-second rule is about hitting the launch button while the lizard is still asleep. It's not about becoming a different person, it's about moving through the world before your internal critic has time to get its shoes on. It's a race against your own survival instinct, and today I'm going to show you how to win every single time. Number 8, understanding the hijack. To beat the enemy, you have to know how it works. When you feel social anxiety, your brain is actually making a massive evolutionary mistake. It is treating a potential awkward conversation the same way it would treat a saber-toothed tiger. Back in the day, being rejected by the tribe meant you'd probably die alone in the cold. So, your amygdala evolved to treat social disapproval as a lethal threat. When you hesitate, your brain thinks it's helping you stay safe by keeping you quiet. It floods your body with cortisol, making your heart race and your palms sweat. But here is the secret, that physical reaction follows the hesitation. If you don't hesitate, the hijack never happens. By acting within 3 seconds, you bypass the alarm system entirely. You aren't fighting your fear. You are simply outrunning the signal before the alarm can ring. It's the ultimate stealth mission for your social life. Number 7, the loading trap. We often think that thinking it through will make us more confident. We tell ourselves, I'll just wait for the right moment, or I'll plan exactly what to say. But in the world of social anxiety, loading is a trap. The more data you give your brain to process, the more error messages it will find. Overthinking is just a fancy word for fear with a suit on. When you wait longer than 3 seconds, you aren't preparing. You're just rehearsing your own failure. You start imagining the person laughing at you, or the room going silent. You are literally visualizing the loss. The 3-second rule forces you to act on impulse rather than calculation. Your impulses are actually much more charismatic than your calculations, because they are authentic. Confidence isn't the absence of thought, it's the presence of action. Number 6, the 3-2-1 countdown. This is the core mechanic of the rule. It sounds too simple to work, but that's exactly why it's so powerful. When you see a social opportunity, you mentally count down 3, 2, 1, go. This countdown serves 2 purposes. First, it's a pattern interrupt. It shifts your brain from the emotional feeling center to the logical counting center. You can't panic and count backward at the same time. Your brain doesn't have the bandwidth for both. Second, it creates a point of no return. By the time you hit 1, your body is already leaning forward. It's like a rocket launch. You don't wait for the rocket to feel like flying. You ignite the engines when the clock hits 0. You are training your nervous system to treat the number 1 as a command for movement. Once you start the count, the decision is already made. You've handed the keys to the captain and told the lizard to go take a nap. Number 5. The cortisol bypass. Let's talk about the chemistry. When you hesitate, your brain releases cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol makes you feel tight, high-pitched, and awkward. It's the chemical of wait and worry. But when you move immediately, within that 3-second window, your brain releases a small jolt of dopamine instead. Dopamine is the chemical of action and reward. By moving quickly, you are essentially choosing which pharmacy your brain opens. If you wait, you get the anxiety cocktail. If you move, you get the adventure spark. Even if the conversation is a little clumsy at first, the dopamine ensures you feel excited about it rather than terrified by it. You are literally drugging yourself with bravery before the fear can take its first sip. It's a chemical heist, and you are the mastermind. Number 4. The confidence loop. Most people believe that you need confidence before you act. They say, "I'll talk to them once I feel more confident." This is the biggest lie our brains tell us. Confidence is not a requirement for action. It is a result of action. Every time you use the 3-second rule and actually say, "Hello," you are sending a message to your subconscious. You are saying, "Look, we did it, and we didn't die." This creates a positive feedback loop. Your brain starts to realize that social interaction isn't a saber-toothed tiger. It's just a game. Each 3-second go builds a brick in the wall of your self-esteem. Over time, you don't even need the countdown anymore because your brain has learned that action equals safety. You aren't faking it until you make it. You are doing it until you become it. Number 3. Spotlighting the objective. One of the reasons we freeze is because we are inwardly focused. We are obsessing over our own hands, our own voice, and our own fear. We are the stars of our own tragedy. The 3-second rule forces you to shift that spotlight outward. Because you only have 3 seconds, you don't have time to think about yourself. You only have time to think about the target. You focus on the person you want to talk to. You notice the color of their jacket, the book they are holding, or the way they are laughing. When you turn the spotlight off yourself and shine it on someone else, your anxiety loses its power. You can't be self-conscious if you aren't focusing on yourself. You become an observer of the world rather than a victim of it. The 3-second window is too small for an ego, but it's just big enough for a connection. Number 2. The practice of imperfection. The 3-second rule is a quantity over quality strategy. When you move that fast, you will stumble over your words sometimes. You might say "good morning" at 8 p.m. or trip slightly as you walk over. And here is the secret. That's actually a good thing. Perfect people are intimidating. Glitchy people are relatable. When you mess up a little because you are being brave, people feel a natural warmth toward you. It's called the pratfall effect. Using the 3-second rule is a commitment to being perfectly imperfect. You are choosing a messy win over a perfect loss. Every time you say something slightly awkward and the world doesn't end, you realize that you are invincible. The fear of being awkward is a cage. The 3-second rule is the key that lets you out. You realize that clumsy and brave beats smooth and paralyzed every single day of the week. And finally, number 1, the sovereignty shift. This is the ultimate reason why the 3-second rule changes your life. It is the moment you reclaim your sovereignty, your right to rule your own mind. Most of us live as subjects to our own brains. If our brain says be afraid, we cower. If it says stay home, we stay. We treat our internal thoughts like they are laws. But the 3-second rule is an act of rebellion. It is you telling your brain, "I hear your opinion, but I am the one who moves the muscles." It is the realization that you are the user and your brain is just the software. You can choose to ignore a low battery warning on your phone, and you can choose to ignore a social danger warning in your mind. When you master the 3-second window, you become the boss of your own experience. You stop asking your fear for permission to live. You realize that the only thing standing between the version of you who is alone and the version of you who is connected is 3 seconds of movement. So, here is your homework for today. Don't wait for a big moment. Use the 3-second rule on something small. Say hello to the cashier. Ask someone for the time. Complain to a stranger about the weather. Just count 3, 2, 1 and go. Prove to your brain that you are the one in charge. If you've ever used a hack like this, or if you're going to try it today, leave a comment. Let's start a bravery log in the comments section. Tell me the one thing you did today that took exactly 3 seconds of courage. Subscribe to the Clever Clover to help us build this community of curious, brave humans. Your support is the dopamine that keeps this channel going. Until next time, stay curious, move fast, and mind yourself. Don't let the lizard win today.